Welcome back to the Relaxing Ghost channel here on YouTube. As always, your host with the most, Ghost. Today we got episode 28 of the Attitude Era review series. Do have a couple of these in the can, so let's get to them, guys. WWF Unforgiven 1999. Beautiful cover on here. This would be live in Charlotte, North Carolina. Pretty crazy that 20 years later they were in the same building, or, at least the same city and state. They just did Clash of Champions here in Night of Champions, whatever it's called, Clash of Champions. And it was also in Charlotte. So that's pretty cool to me. So this is episode 28. We got a lot of matches to go through, guys. 9 matches on this show. Only goes about 2 hours, 40 minutes. Pretty decent event. This was September 26th, 1999. Like I mentioned, Charlotte, North Carolina, at the Charlotte Coliseum. Not sure the exact attendance. It said 15,979. And then later on in the show, they said something like 13,000 or so. So I can always expect these numbers to be inflated a little bit, these attendance figures. So I usually just go with what they announced during the show or what's on Wikipedia. We got JR and the King on commentary, and this is a period where the referees are on strike. Yes, they did this storyline. I think this is something they could actually go back to. It's a decent storyline, but it's hard to work through here because you need a referee in pretty much all instances. Whether you have at least a few matches every show, you need some scab referees like they called them here. Um, yeah, Howard Finkel doing the ring announcing, and you see the referees out prior to the show picketing. First up of the mat, first match of the night: Steve Blackman versus Val Venis, and we got the Brooklyn Brawler as the referee. I'll name you the referees as we go through the matches because this is pretty funny in some cases. This was a decent opener. We see the money shot for a 3 count. Um, and then after the match, we see a kendo stick to Val Venis, knocking him out. And then Jim Dawson, the head of security, with a spear on the big boss man who was trying to interfere here. Jim Dawson sadly passed away a few years ago, so rest in peace to him. I actually didn't know that. He's the guy you always seen, around the ringside area, usually on the hard camera side, um, towards the stairway area there, with the black leather hat. They're I forget what they call them, caps, but he always was there. Big muscular guy, head of security, Jim Dawson. Second match of the night for the European Championship: D'Lo Brown versus Mark Henry, and we got Dr. Tom Pritchard as the referee. This match starts outside. D'Lo Brown hitting a suicide dive on Mark Henry, and then we see a gorilla press slam by Mark Henry. As well as a D'Lo Brown hitting a heel kick, doing his traditional leg drop. D'Lo Brown hits the big splash in the corner, and D'Lo hits the Sky High. He misses D'Lo with that big splash in the corner. Sky High, low down for 3. We got a new European champion. So, if you're not familiar, Jeff Jarrett won both the IC and European titles at SummerSlam in '99. He awards Mark Henry the European title, and a month later he's dropping it to D'Lo. So, pretty pointless there. Backstage, we see a APA promo, Acolytes, and then we see a group of superstars beating up Chaz, who was reportedly beating up his girlfriend there or whatever. Then we have a Deborah promo, and they were trying to work in, Deborah was leaving Jeff Jarrett, whatever. Jeff Jarrett, who is the Intercontinental Champion, defending against China. This would be their first pay-per-view match. So China did win the number 1 contenders match a couple of weeks prior on SmackDown. And we have Harvey Whippleman as the guest referee. So this one starts out pretty hot. Spills outside, good back and forth. China blocks the figure 4. And China, with a chair shot, Jarrett blocks the pedigree, catapult, and into a ref bump. Jeff Jarrett calls for the guitar, and Mae Young and Moolah are actually at ringside for this. They go into the ring, and Jeff Jarrett double clothesline on Mae and Moolah. Figure 4 on China. Deborah comes out. Guitar to Jeff Jarrett. China covers Jarrett. Gets the 3 count. Dr. Tom Pritchard ends up playing a replay. And the crowd is not happy, causing the DQ. So they very frequently done this with once someone wins, they seem to do this more in like the Attitude Era, where they will actually give you the title and then later cause the DQ finish. China puts the boots to Tom Pritchard and a pedigree to Tom Pritchard. Backstage, we see on Heat, Michael Cole with Stone Cold Steve Austin, who will be the guest enforcer for the 6-pack challenge tonight. Let's see, we got some people in the chat. Welcome, everybody. Well, that's good to hear, Mark. Hope to see more from you. I'll check out your channel later today. I hope you enjoy the reviews. Wow, that's big news. Yeah, I like what AEW is doing. If you have any questions, please save them for the end of the show, and try to comment along with what I'm going through currently. 4th match of the night. Thank you, True Blue Paladin. We got the APA versus the Dudley Boyz. This is the Dudley's first pay-per-view appearance in the World Wrestling Federation. And the referee for this match is Jimmy Corderas. He was the one referee that crossed the picket line into the ring. And he's like the head scab. So this is a very hard-hitting match between the Dudleys and the Acolytes. Dudleys hit the reverse 3D for a 2 count. Headbutt by Devon. And the Dudleys hit a 3D. Stevie Richards comes out wearing a UPN shirt. And super kick to the Dudleys. Acolytes win with Farouk pinning Devon. Dominator and a powerbomb to Stevie Richards. Thanks for coming, Stevie. That's all right, man. No problem. But yeah, if you're enjoying these reviews, make sure to comment down below. You can follow along with the reviews, watch them as we go along, and hope you enjoy the reviews. I put a lot of work into this, so hope everyone enjoys. I only say that because some people might want to just come for the review portion, and then after the review, we can ask questions and have a discussion. Fifth match of the night for the World Wrestling Federation Women's Championship, and this is a hardcore championship, hardcore match. Ivory versus Luna. And this is kind of like an impromptu match. It just randomly starts backstage. And you got the scab referee Harvey Whippleman here again. We see a splash off of a forklift onto some boxes. Tori tries to interfere here. Ivory grabs a broom handle, just smashes Luna to retain. And then we see Moolah and Mae Young backstage once again, and they beat down Ivory. So this would, of course, lead into Ivory versus Moolah at No Mercy. Sixth match of the night. Edge and Christian versus the New Age Outlaws for the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Championships. And once again, we have Jimmy Corderas as your referee. Both these teams here are over as you could be. They're both pretty much baby faces at this time. I mean, huge reactions. Yeah, I remember that. Not a good slogan. You know, I'm sure they could have came up with something better than that for the APA. Well, when they were the Acolytes, I don't think they ever wore a short. So when they became the APA, they kind of made their own gimmick. Got our morning coffee. So good morning or good afternoon, wherever you may be. Great match here between Edge and Christian. And JR is saying that Billy Ship was like a battleship. I said Billy Ship. Billy was like a battleship without a rudder, commenting on his run there in the middle of '99, winning King of the Ring and whatnot. You know, he was not a lead man, in my opinion. Billy Gunn, you know, he got the big push, won King of the Ring, but I don't think he really had the mic skills to carry himself. Great body, great look, talented in the ring, athletic, fairly good size on the man, but could not cut a promo to save him. Good back and forth. Double sledge there by ENC. ENC actually worked Road Dogg's back. He was recently out with a tweaked back or something by Chris Jericho, storyline wise. He was out a couple of weeks, so they're back here. They won the tag titles there in I think it was Vegas, or it was an early episode of SmackDown. Road Dogg blocks the backdrop, double DDT, and the Hardy Boys interfere. We see a drop kick on Edge, and the Famouser for a 3 count. So see here, they allow the interference. They don't call for a replay, and the Outlaws retain. But in the IC title match, the interference caused the disqualification. It's really weird booking. I never really understood how they allowed stuff like that. It's really weird. Backstage, we see clips from SmackDown. Lilian Garcia backstage with the British Bulldog and Triple H. Um, and they're both aligned with each other here. I like this pairing. British Bulldog. He's a classic, one of my favorites. And this time period, I think he was fairly underrated. I always liked his run. I just don't think they did anything with him. Then we see the Big Boss Man with Michael Cole promoting the Kennel from Hell. And speaking of the Kennel from Hell, that is our 7th match of the night. This is for the Hardcore Championship. And the Brooklyn Brawler is the referee. So this one takes several minutes to get started here. They're putting up the big blue cage around the ring. And I think that's kind of why they had the backstage promos with Bulldog, Triple H, Big Boss Man. This took longer than expected, and this was just a really awful match. And if you guys don't know what this match is, it's the big blue cage around the ring, a Hell in a Cell around that, and in between the two cages, you have Rottweilers surrounding the ring. And the goal is to escape both cages. So there's pretty much no locks on the doors. There's a referee, I believe, outside of the ring just to call for the door. But that was about it. The thing I didn't like about this was the Rottweiler part. Rottweilers, dogs in general, kind of have a mind of their own. So this match was unpredictable. The dogs didn't do anything. They weren't even barking or anything. They had handlers with the dogs, so it kind of just made you shake your head. JR is saying this match has tendencies to be ball and shoe ugly. And they are just ripping this match to shreds. So this match starts between the cages, and Al Snow with the nightstick to the Big Boss Man, and the dogs aren't even out yet. So these guys are starting the match, and they don't even have the dogs between the cages yet. So they release the dogs. Al Snow's got his bag of tricks with him. Big Boss Man grabs a pair of wire cutters. He's trying to cut the roof of the cage. So he's looking for an exit through the top. These guys are both bleeding. They're busted wide open. Boss Man grabs some handcuffs. Al Snow pulls out Head from his bag of tricks and clobbers Boss Man with Head. Al Snow climbs out of the big blue cage, escapes the door of the Hell in a Cell. And Big Boss Man is trying to climb through the top. Al Snow retains. This match sucked. 20 years ago, when I was a kid, I kind of had a little bit of interest into this. I felt bad for Al Snow. He lost his dog Pepper. He ate his dog Pepper, and Al Snow and Al Snow and Boss Man kind of had this blood feud going, where it was really personal. And this match had a little bit of interest to it. It sounded interesting, and then it happened, and it was one of the worst matches WWE ever done. We've seen iterations of this with the Punjabi prison, where you gotta escape both cages. This match sucked, honestly. This was awful. I think this brings the whole pay-per-view down a level. So Steve, JR or the King, he says Steve Lombardi has the IQ of a poodle, going back to his days of a referee in that DQ finish, whatever it was. Yeah, referencing the Brooklyn Brawler. Okay, that's good for you, TSM. Eighth match of the night: Chris Jericho versus X Pac. Two of my favorites from this era. Two of my favorites of all time. And we got head scab referee back out, Dr. Tom. And before this match even starts, they're still taking down the big blue cage. This Kennel from Hell match took up a lot of time of this pay per view, and for the wrong reason. You know, Jericho and X Pac actually have a really good match here, and X Pac is replacing Ken Shamrock. They have a good back and forth. X Pac with a springboard crossbody to the outside, and Jericho is with Mr. Hughes at this point in time. So he's ditched Howard Finkel by now. He's got new bodyguard, Curtis Hughes. It's like this guy can't get a break. Just let him be Chris Jericho. He's good on his own. Mr. Hughes with a clothesline on X Pac, and Jericho with a top rope drop kick. Lion Salt and a fury of right hands for from Jericho. He usually goes for the cover after a Lion Salt. Jericho was just pounding X Pac, pounding him away. Yeah, I think they were really trying to get the crowd back at this point. That crowd was dead after that Kennel from Hell match. Um, Jericho blocking the Bronco Buster, hitting his double power bomb for a 2 count. Jericho, for whatever reason, was using this double power bomb finisher. Um, it was decent to use, but I think he was going to be in the mid heavyweight division. It was hard enough for him to get that on guys like Road Dogg and X Pac, so it wasn't a good finisher for him. Um, X Pac puts Jericho in the Tree of Woe position, upside down into the turnbuckle, and hits the Bronco Buster on him in the Tree of Woe. I'd never seen that before. Mr. Hughes KOs the referee, Dr. Tom. Road Dogg runs down, saving X Pac. This match goes to a DQ. So X Pac gets saved again. I love X Pac. I think he really needed some credible wins here in this latter part of '99. It seemed like every pay per view he's just getting saved, saved, saved. Kane's run down, X Pac and Kane. Um, he was a believable face. You could beat him down, he could be built back up, and he was my favorite before Triple H. And then Triple H just went right to the top of my list around this time. And the ninth match is the main event for the World Wrestling Federation Championship, the Six-Pack Challenge. The British Bulldog, The Big Show, Mankind, The Rock, Triple H, and Kane with guest enforcer Stone Cold Steve Austin. Really fun match. This, I think, really saved the show. So this isn't like a tornado rules match where all six guys are allowed in the ring. This is a 2 men in the ring and, 4 guys on each corner, which sounds kind of weird because why would you want to tag out and allow someone else to win? That's the only gripe I have about this. You got Jimmy Corderas once again as the referee. Jimmy, we've seen him a few times tonight. So, The Rock and the Bulldog will start the thing. And like I said, you got 4 tags. So, before it starts, we got back and forth between all six men. The officials run down to the ring. The real officials, like Tim White, Earl Hebner, Jack Doan, Mike Chioda, some of those guys. Tombstone to Mankind from Kane. Power Slam to Kane from the Bulldog. Pedigree to British Bulldog. We got a DDT on the Rock. Mr. Socko on the Rock, which actually gets some boos on Mankind. Rock Bottom to Mankind. Choke Slam to Mankind from the Big Show. And the referees pull out Jimmy Corderas. Austin, the guest enforcer, is actually on commentary having a beer. And he's letting this thing go wild. I always love that when Austin would just, sit on commentary. So Austin's had enough. DDT to Triple H for a 2 count. Rock Bottom, People's Elbow, and Austin is pulled out of the ring, I believe by Big Show or Kane. British Bulldog grabbing a chair, smashing the Rock over the head. Austin and Bulldog are getting into it. Triple H has the pedigree on the Rock. And Austin reluctantly counts the 1, 2, 3. Very cool finish. They incorporated the heat between Austin, Triple H, while still kind of giving Triple H the Duke here. I thought this was the match of the night, bar none. After the match, Triple H is kind of holding the title in Austin's face, rubbing it in. Austin hits the stunner on Triple H, and we send this one home. Overall, this was not a good show, guys. I'd probably give it 5 out of 10. It did drag at times. The few opening matches were fairly quick and really didn't mean anything. Although we did see several storylines advance to No Mercy. I think this was your fairly average pay-per-view. 5 out of 10 from me. Let me know your thoughts. Comment down below. If anyone's in the chat still wants to ask a few questions, go away now. So my favorite superstar of all time is Triple H. The Game, the King of Kings, the Cerebral Assassin. Just got some hiccups. So, we had a lot of good storylines after SummerSlam. They're definitely pushing up, holding off a lot of storylines here, with Edge, Christian, the New Brood, which I never liked the Hardys with Gangrel. That was just weird. We got Road Dogg and X-Pac back together, Jericho and X-Pac. You got the Dudleys, APA, the Rock and Sock kind of dynamic was here. Austin and Triple H is going to continue. So there was a lot of good things. This is one of the last pay-per-views of the Vince Russo era. So we are at the end of an era here. And we got pretty much 2 more shows with Russo. 2 more pay-per-view shows. And then after that, he's going to WCW, him and Ed Ferrara. We got this UK pay-per-view next, Rebellion 99, and then No Mercy 1999. Although I'm not 100% sure how much influence Russo had on the No Mercy show. I think what I've read, they continued with what storylines he had, or they wrapped most of them up, and then they pretty much just went ahead with what they wanted to. So the stuff with like China winning the IC title against Jarrett, that was probably Russo. They wrapped that up and went with China as the IC champion. They did Triple H and Austin. Rock and Sock feuded. I really only think I've seen Unforgiven 99. This might be the first time I actually watched it in full. And I bought this quite a while ago. maybe last year sometime, and I just got around to watching it now. So you know, it's hard when there's Raw, SmackDown, NXT, monthly pay per views, sometimes two pay per views a month with the takeovers, the standard pay per views. Now we got AEW launching. So there's a lot to keep up with. I apologize if I'm a little behind on the Attitude Era review series. So this is always something I enjoy doing. Um, I'm sorry I get it behind a little bit, but my priority is to do the pay-per-view reviews for the stuff that airs live first, and then the older stuff kind of always gets put on the back burner. So apologize for that. Have I heard the top rope from Beffy? No, I haven't. Ton of wrestling themes in it. I haven't heard about that. Um, uh, sorry. So sorry if I bored some of you guys there with the little rant at the end. If you got any questions, please send them in now, or might wrap this up in a few minutes. Sorry, man, I haven't heard of the UK rapper. I'm not too familiar with new age rap. Uh, Honestly, haven't really been into new music as of the last few years. Just doesn't spark an interest in me anymore. I'll keep up with certain artists and things like that, but I'm not a fan of the new aged rapper. Mumble rap is not for me. I'm more of a storyteller rapper. Guys like Tupac, Biggie, Eminem. It's probably my favorite. Also, I have a unboxing there to do. Packages there from Royal Mail. I have no idea who God is from New Japan. Gangs of Disciples. I don't know. God, who is this? Yeah, I haven't been able to watch any New Japan lately. There's been so much WWE content the last couple of months. It's been unreal. Um, and then the AEW shows, like I mentioned, those are priority first. Sadly, New Japan, again, it doesn't really spark my interest. Sad to say, in my opinion, New Japan is top two. Until we see more from AEW, then I can probably rate it better. But New Japan is definitely in the top five promotions, probably top two. WWE, NXT, New Japan. Sadly, ROH and Impact are slowly going downhill. You have Impact now on Access TV. Who knows what that's going to look like? And it'll probably be better for them than to be on a cable station where they're getting like 10,000 views or 100,000 views a week. Well, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Sorry I couldn't answer any more of your questions. I'm going to wrap it up now. We'll talk to you later. Peace.